He's CGI generated,
Mhm.
but they motion captured a guy in a Godzilla suit.
Interesting.
Yeah,
They Power Rangered us.
they took a guy and they built a limited Godzilla suit. He has a head and a little tail, spines on him, and then made him walk around. Went through all the Godzilla motions. Yeah, I can just talk about the three trailers that are out. And if anyone hadn't seen them, I think they should go look at them. They're pretty good looking trailers to me. I got my interest in the movie. I don't really think anyone does Godzilla like Toho, and this is another Toho movie. Yeah, they're always light years better than anything the Americans make, in my opinion. But it came out in Japan, this movie's called Godzilla Resurgence, and it came out in Japan in July, so it's been playing for several weeks. And the critical reviews are all excellent. They say it's one of the best Godzilla movies ever.
Yeah, I saw where Rotten Tomatoes gave it 86%, and they don't rate things that high normally, so.
No,
Right.
no.
They gave it 26%.
Yeah, iPhone.
I guess it's whoever's throwing money at him that week.
Right.
I think in the end with this Godzilla movie, a lot of the people who saw it are real Godzilla fans and are rating it very high. And I think that probably carries a little bit of weight, more than just your standard everyday critic or audience member. And it's being very well accepted in the Godzilla fan community. So I think it's worth watching. I think it's probably going to be one of the better Godzilla movies. And they've completely changed his look. If you take a look at him and what he looks like now, he's a lot different than the last few movies. Some people don't like that look. Some people think it's looks pretty awesome.
Well, I look at it like, if you take someone who's, 10, 15, in that age demographic right now, and you show them, some of the original Godzillas, they're just gonna laugh at it. It's probably not gonna mean anything to them. Just, how movies have came and CGI and stuff like that. I don't know. I think we need a really, really good U.S. one to get the excitement back on.
Mm.
I'd like to see one.
So, I don't know. It was a little longer than that, but it was done by was it Matt Reeves? I think directed it. Um, it was really dark. Like I couldn't see half the time. I just couldn't really see a whole lot on it. So
Have you noticed that about some of these kaiju movies? Oh, Pacific Rim and some of the others, they're all very dark. Anytime you see the CGI creatures or the monsters, it's always after dark in the rain with fog rolling in from a long distance off, and the scene never lasts more than 3 seconds before the camera moves. I think what they're trying to tell you is that those creatures don't look very real, and they're trying to limit your exposure to them, so you don't see how hokey they are.
Mm.
That's my take on it.
Now that I looked up a little bit on the Godzilla movie that came out 2 years ago. The guy hasn't really directed much. Garth Edwards since then. He worked on Rogue One. He's worked on the new movie coming out, Monsters. But I mean, he hasn't really directed a whole lot.
Well, he's directing another Godzilla movie.
He is.
Yeah, he's it's going to actually have another classic Godzilla monster in it. I don't know which one, whether it's Ghidorah or one of the other, but I believe it's going to be more along the lines of a standard Godzilla movie with him fighting another monster. Yeah, well, Godzilla has a template. Godzilla movies have a template, and the Americans never followed it. So
Mm.
I'm still focused on Megan Fox. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't I read somewhere that they're remaking the original Transformers movie, the one from like '86, or they're remastering that in HD.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I, it'll probably be a remaster from the original source material. I'm hoping, anyways.
Still the right.
Yeah. Braun. Poor Braun. You, right.
Just give us the hate plague. Isn't that what the red dust was in Transformers? The hate plague? Give us that.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's right.
What was his name? Oh, I can't remember his name there. Edgar, that's right.
Man, Netflix needs to get that up. I'm gonna watch that right now.
No doubt. Well, that's the problem with trying to tell that story within a span of 2.5 hours, whatever. They need to do it like they did Voltron. Get on Netflix, do that. I forgot about all those other ones that came out afterwards. Hmm.
I just want I want a channel that just plays old GI Joe, old Transformers.
Yeah, give me my GI Joe.
Like we need a. Oh yeah, I would pay $5 a month for it. Make it online. I don't care. Make it like a Crunchyroll type thing.
Yeah.
That's Godzilla Final Wars.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the one where that was the final movie of that series, and they wanted him to take on every monster ever was, including the U.S. version of Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Godzilla 2000.
no, Matthew Broderick was in the U.S. version, but no, Godzilla Final Wars. That's the one that he takes on every monster, including the American version of Godzilla. And yeah, he just looks at him and kind of laughs, takes him, flips him into the into the. I mean, it's over in like 2 seconds. It's like
It's, it's just a shot at Americans, then, right? So is it worth even watching, giving it a shot, or is it just
oh,
too over the top ridiculous?
oh no, the Final Wars is a very good Godzilla movie. It's it is. It's one of the better ones. It's one of the better ones. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching.
Mm.
Good to know.
Nice.
Well, Godzilla was originally Japan's guilty conscience over World War II. He was he came in. He was a spawn of a nuclear program that came in and just devastated Japan. The atom bomb that we dropped because of their actions. And it wasn't anything to blame the U.S. for. It was they brought it on themselves, and they made that real clear in those Godzilla movies, and they've kept that in some form or fashion in all the Japanese Godzilla movies, and that's one reason he is the way he is. Godzilla isn't a bad guy. He's not, even in some movies he's kind of a good guy, but he's really not. He's just a force of nature. He
Mm.
just shows up. He doesn't have any reason. You can't talk to him. You can't reason with him. You can't change his mind. He doesn't have any agenda. He didn't come there to get anything. He's just there like a tornado. And that, yeah, I mean, if you're there, you get knocked down and you can't stop him. But been the Godzilla part of the Godzilla formula. And he's
Well,
yeah, he's Japanese. He's the end of Japan's aggressive, militaristic, and cruelty during World War II.
don't worry, us Americans will turn it into Godzilla versus Jurassic Park, and he'll somehow end up on the
Well,
island.
I was just
And
reading. I was just reading on the sequel here for Godzilla, and under in the trivia in IMDb.com, they're talking about the next one after this Godzilla 2. He's going to fight King Kong.
Yep, King Kong.
Yes. Yes.
Well, if you notice, there's a movie called Kong Skull Island that's coming up,
Yeah.
and in it
Yeah,
they've scaled King Kong up to the size of Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's absolutely enormous, and that's the reason is that they've got to get him ready to fight Godzilla. So there'll be
Right on.
Kong Skull Island, and then there'll be the Godzilla versus King Kong.
they're gonna hype that so much. It's gonna make so much money. Hopefully
yeah.
it's not. Hopefully it's not a piece of garbage.
they're saying it looks here. They're saying 2020.
Right.
Have you seen the old version of Godzilla versus King Kong? It's absolutely ludicrous. I mean, it's more fun. It's more fun than it's unbelievably fun.
Mhm.
Let's yeah.
Well, the King Kong costume they had in there, they had a set of real long arms, so he looked like an ape. But of course, you couldn't move the hands because the hands were down below your normal hands. They were just on poles.
Mm.
So, so if
Interesting.
you in the scenes where they grapple Godzilla, where you actually need your hands, they had another set of arms that were normal length arms. So if you watch him, sometimes he's got real big arms, and sometimes he's got real short arms, and then sometimes he has big arms again. I mean,
That's
it's just
great.
it's absolutely hilarious. That's a great movie if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'll definitely have to check that out. I see the full version of it or the full movie is up on YouTube. 1987. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, it was a very depressing anime. Oh, what was that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Does anyone have any idea when the live action Akira's coming out?
I don't know how I feel about them making a live action version of that. I don't know if they could do it justice.
Yeah, that's been the big question.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it. At the same time, I'm very apprehensive about them bringing that into the real world. I mean, we've got the tech to do the special effects, of course. I just don't. I worry about them keeping the story intact, and I know even the anime doesn't really cover the entirety of the story based on the manga too. Oh, it was more than one. It was maybe weekly, monthly release or something. Like it was several manga books that covered the entire story. I, oh, am I lagging?
You are getting a little choppy.
I don't know what's going on.
You downloading porn in the background?
No. Shh, don't tell anybody online. Come on. It could be streaming going on in the other room too, so that might be affecting my bandwidth. Although I've got 85 megabytes or megabits, so that should be good enough. Anyways, enough of that technical jargon. What's up next? Yeah. Yeah, I hate to say I don't know much about this game. hmm
Now, is this just an Xbox exclusive, or is it a PC as well? I know that they're trying to do the whole.
Mm.
Sure. Very cool. No, I have not played it yet. I have watched probably 2 or 3 hours worth of streaming on it, but it's to me my first reaction is it looks amazing, it looks beautiful, but it just seems like there is zero action in the game.
Look
It's
kind of empty.
yeah, it's I look at it like if I'm going to a planet, if I'm going to a world, I want to have to like I need to look behind me. I need to make sure that some monster or whatever is not going to come up and get me. Instead, it's pretty much, I'm watching streamers and they're like, "Oh, I landed on this planet. Okay, now I'm gonna mine. I'm gonna walk around and just explore." Which I know that's a big part of the game, but man, it just seems like there's literally zero action in it.
Not sure. I mean, are you talking about Star Citizen? Well, I mean, it shares some characteristics. But Star Citizen's a completely different beast altogether.
I think that No Man's Sky will succeed. I know that right now it's getting some people are loving it, some people are hating it, but I think it's going to be one of those things where there's so much to do in it, so much to explore that it might be a year or 2 years down the road, but they're still going to have their hardcore fans playing it, and they're going to start discovering a lot cooler stuff that I think will eventually bring people into it. But I think right now, like one of the main things was, people wanted to play together, but the whole thing was you'll never be able to find your friends. The world is so big. Even if I give you the coordinates to where I'm at, by the time you show up, or if you can even find me, like they pretty much said it would be impossible. And then I saw some streamers say, "Hey, I am at the exact same planet as my friend. We're in the exact same location, and we just can't see each other."
And if I could speak to that, that's what I don't understand why they didn't utilize the cloud computing that's been touted for this console generation. That would have been perfect for the game that they're making. Oh, the PC version could have done it. Even if they didn't include that for the PS4 version, there's no excuse not to use that for the PC version.
I agree.
I don't know. I just can't help. You got games like EVE Online, and I'm not saying it's as big as the possible size of No Man's Sky, but I mean, how come it can keep track of all the assets in its game? The different people, the alliances, the planets, blah blah blah. But No Man's Sky can't do the same thing. And, have
Well,
everyone in one playable instance.
Well, what I read was that there was no co-op in it at all. So even
Right.
though you're at a planet that says it's the same planet as your friend, you're in two different instances, and there's really no sharing there. You couldn't see him because you're really not in the same game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have to develop this with a co-op in mind, and it was never done that way, and it probably never will be. You'd have to completely rewrite it for that.
Uh,
As far as finding each other, that's not hard. If you ever played Borderlands, you hit the button that says "Join your friend" and it takes you right to his feet.
right.
Right.
That's not a problem.
yeah. Somebody just gave me a heads up. My mic sounded funny, so I'm gonna make sure it's sounding correct.
I think what bothers me the most about this is that, a lot of people were making assumptions about what you could do in No Man's Sky, and the developers didn't really deny a lot of things. They didn't confirm, but they didn't deny at the same time too.
Yeah, there was some imagery of some of the creatures and things like that just don't seem to match what the end product was. It kind of feels like it may have been rushed.
Well, I look at it like it was so hyped, and the game came out last Tuesday.
Yeah.
something like that.
Hmm.
And currently, right now on Twitch, there is. Well, I'm not even seeing it on the opening page. I think there was maybe 5,000 people. That was it. And one streamer has 2,000 people viewing it, which you think for a game that was this hyped, you would see,
A lot more.
10,000 at least. But yeah, it's 5,000 current viewers. But I haven't given up on the game. I like the exploring walkthrough type of games, but man, I gotta see some more action than just, hey, you're the only living thing on this planet.
I think they
Go and hammer this
probably.
rock for 3 hours and mine. I mean,
I
that's
think they should have probably taken a more Star Trek approach to it, where you had more races to interact with and things like that that could be violent, could be not violent. Maybe you had to negotiate or deal with them in a proper way to get what you needed to go through. Kind of mix it up a little bit between flying around, exploring, digging, building, and diplomacy and fighting. Kind of roll them dice and mix it up a little bit. But it seems like it's largely Minecraft in space.
I saw a pretty good meme. It said what I thought I was getting on No Man's Land. They showed this picture of Jurassic Park, with all these dinosaurs running around, and it says what I really got, and this little creature. It had a head like a pig, and it took 2 steps and fell over in the weeds.
Hey Rick, wasn't that you that posted that on our Facebook group?
Yeah, it was that.
Maybe. I, don't, I post so much I sometimes forget what I post.
I think it starts out with like the symphonic music, kind of like Jurassic Park, and then it kind of goes into like sounding like a GAC band or something. It's like, and this little monster's like all walking around like all like
Walking
don't know
around,
what.
flopping over and stuff. Yeah, that came across my Tumblr feed, and I said, that's perfect. That's what you expect and what you get are always two different things.
Right. It'll probably be. I will probably get it eventually, but not for $60.
Yeah, it's gonna be a $29 Steam sale for me when I pick it up, and I, I'll be honest, I hope that it's sooner than later. I hope it's not, like a Grand Theft Auto that stays,
Right.
$50 except for twice a year, or $60. But I don't know. I am excited to play it. I am just a little disappointed at some of the reviews and some of the gameplay that I've seen. So hopefully they're gonna add some stuff to it. They're gonna keep patching it, keep adding stuff, and hopefully it turns into a game like a Destiny, like a Grand Theft Auto that's still around in a couple of years.
Well,
It's not
fellas,
a-
I'm gonna
You
go
may
ahead
just play
and
Star Citizen.
I'm gonna go ahead and let us take a break there for a few minutes, and we'll be right back here in a few.
All right.
guys. Bring us back a little early. I mean, seems like everybody's got their beverages and whatnot.
We're ready.
Yep.
All right, get all my windows sorted out here. I keep swapping them around.
So you want to dish on Microsoft and their comments about console generations?
Well, I'm not sure I completely disagree. I mean, when you look at how both these platforms are set up this gen, they probably will be the last.
I think so. I think it's going to be a good move on their part. I mean, you remember those conversations we used to have like back in 95, 96,
It,
long time ago when we were talking about upgradable consoles?
mm-hmm.
I think it's about to happen. I think Project Scorpio is going to be
The
it's going
beginning
to
of
be
that.
a modular console where there will be pieces of it you can pull out and buy a new module that has maybe twice the amount of memory in it. Plug it right in. There you go.
Yep, and a lot of what I've seen of the hardware specs and whatnot seem to indicate that it is extremely modular in
Mm,
its design, from
That
top to
mm.
brings up a question to me: is how do you write games for something like that? How do you know
I,
which version of that to write the game for? And will you be writing games that won't play on some of them and will play on others? I mean, that's going to really be aggravating.
I think the idea is that they'll still program when they're writing games. It'll be written on the level of the original Xbox One, but where Scorpio has got its emphasis on VR gaming, they'll have the VR games for it, but they'll probably make it plain as day that you can't play this on the regular Xbox One or the S. So there
Well,
might be some of that that could piss some people off.
well, from what I'm understanding, and this is just from some of the data that's kind of flown through my desk here, is that it doesn't matter if you have Scorpio or the original. If you buy a game from now on and you play it on an Xbox One, it'll play regardless if there's another machine past Scorpio. All the games are backwards compatible and are forward compatible. If
So
you've
I mean,
got the extra stuff, then the resolution modes and the texture qualities will activate.
Auto
so
detect. Okay.
so it's a PC with a nice video card
Pretty
until the
much.
next season comes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean, it
Rather than taking $1 billion to redo a whole factory line every 5 years or whatever it is to make a whole new console, they're just going to change the board print to include a new video card or a new audio card to match the current trends, which
So,
should have been done from the get-go. That makes more sense.
so really, they're going to adopt the PC method of game development, where it can adapt itself to a wide range of hardware.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. And they got
And,
That's
such a backlog from doing Windows that shouldn't be hard for them to implement. I don't think.
no, that's a
no.
good idea. It's really a good approach.
Hmm.
Well, that and that's why they initially made the Xbox to begin with, was to bring that kind of PC mentality over to the console market, which was largely at the time custom-made chipsets and graphics cards that were hell to program for.
Right. Hell, you know where the Xbox gets its name from?
oh,
DirectX.
It was originally called the Direct Xbox, and then they shortened the name. But that's yeah, they based the Xbox on PC gaming essentially from the beginning.
Yeah,
so I can't wait till Xbox or the new system sells memory chips to put on my video card expansion, and
I
yeah,
don't think they're going to get as elaborate as it is with the PC. I think it will just simply be at a certain time, the video card will change, and they'll phase out those units, and as people buy new ones to replace the old ones as they wear out, then the train just kind of shuffles on down the line.
Yeah.
And it keeps old people from feeling, older guys that have the older machine and can't afford to buy the newest hottest thing, from feeling left out, but it also keeps the new guys satisfied that they spent some extra money and they'll get something for that.
right.
And a lot of what I'm hearing in the development circles, and this comes from like some of the indie contacts and stuff I have, is that while at first everybody was excited for Neo, there are a few complications with the methods um, eh, they're trying to implement. They're good ideas. They're really solid ideas on Sony's part for how to develop the games to keep them backwards compatible and forward compatible, but they're making the margin of error so tight that some of these people are going to really struggle to get the games to run right on both platforms instead of trying to meet in the middle. But that's probably. Uh oh. Somebody's hearing background noise. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, really?
Is it coming through the stream that way, guys?
Yeah, I'm hearing it. I can hear.
I probably had my phone up a little too loud. I was kind of monitoring the stream for boo boos and hiccups after the little mic incident. I was kind of sound like a chipmunk.
Where do you think Nintendo will play in this, or do you think it'll eventually come to a point where, I never think it'll be a point where there's everyone merges, but do you think Sony will eventually consume Nintendo, and it would just be a Microsoft Sony thing, or do you think Microsoft will get out of the game? I can't see it being three competitors and Steam.
No,
Well,
and I
didn't
think
Nintendo recently say they were going to get out of the business and mostly just become intellectual property,
yeah,
not
that
worry too much about hardware?
that's kind of what we're seeing with Pokemon Go. This is the first time in history since the Philips CDI in the 90s that Nintendo's games have been on another platform that wasn't their hardware. And it's one of their big titles. This isn't like some bullshit obscure title. This is like one of their front runners. When Nintendo makes a game, it's a system that's usually Pokemon, Mario, Zelda. Those are the names that kind of come up.
Well, I mean, it was a couple of years ago. Nintendo. I'm not sure who they sold the rights to, but it was within 2 years we would start seeing like Super Mario. We'd start seeing all that on phones. And I think Pokemon Go is their first deployment of their games. But I don't know. I don't look at it like people are playing Nintendo games on different platforms like phones, because I mean I don't feel like the hardcore gamers are gonna like my phone is gonna be my gaming system. I just don't think maybe
Well,
to
they've
girls and
tried
old women
that.
and stuff like that, but I think for the majority of the men that play and the hardcore gamers from over the years, it's gonna we're gonna want a platform. We're gonna want
Somewhere to
um,
park in front of to chill
absolutely.
out and forget what the world is for however long we play. And like I've always said, I love as far as like mobile, I love how far it's come, but I don't see it as a game console replacement as they tried to tout it when it first started to pick up momentum. It seemed like everybody was like, "Well, mobile phones will replace your game console before
I mean, I
long."
don't want to play. I don't want to play Resident Evil or Gears of War while I'm, in the bathroom type of thing, like I can Pokemon Go or Candy Crush or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
you want
I,
something mindless, just whatever.
I,
Well,
yeah,
the hardware route. If you look at what's going on, and you look at Moore's law, the processor in your cell phone is getting very powerful,
absolutely.
and in 10 years, or 15 years, it'll be it'll be probably as strong or stronger than an Xbox One.
I never thought
So
in my lifetime I would see 8 cores water cooled
yeah,
in a
now
phone. I mean, that just blows my freaking mind.
if you think about it for a minute, why do you have a processor in your desktop, a processor on your cell phone, a processor in your gaming console, processor, in your television? There's really no reason to do all that. And what'll happen is that'll all get transferred onto your cell phone. And when you walk in your house, there'll be a wireless connection. Everything in your house will recognize that cell phone and connect to it. Your TV will connect, your displays will connect, your keyboard will connect.
Yeah.
And
So,
if you want to sit down and play on a 28-inch monitor and play Gears of War, you just get on a keyboard and type up and go Gears of War. If you want to go in the bathroom and play Pokemon Go in the bathroom, you just play it on the screen.
Uh,
so
my
you're
first
you're
Pikachu was caught on the shitter.
so a processor fuse box in
Right.
your utility room in your house that just runs, just like it is now, and you have an outlet that you plug your display in or whatever.
Yeah, it'll
Yep.
be a wireless connection. And the same thing will happen at work.
I
There's
think
really no
that's
reason for you when you walk into work. Your IT
I feel
department
like I
at
need to
work
write
will.
this down and patent some stuff on this. This is genius.
well.
This is this
I
is the direction everybody's. This is what they're actually designing to.
well.
I worked in IT when I was at work the utility. I worked in IT, and I'm an engineer. So I see all this stuff. This is the direction they're actually going in. When you walk into work, your phone will connect to the IT network there, and you'll get access to the email, and you'll get all the things that you get on the phone. A company doesn't want to buy you a separate work phone.
No.
You know, they do it because of security and make sure you've got the tools you need, so they'll give you a phone. But if they can do all that over their network and just connect up to your phone, and you've got a phone now that's more powerful than my desktop in your pocket, there's really no reason to be handing out cell phones and handing out desktops. And what
That's
they'll be doing is handing out peripherals. You'll be getting a printer, you'll get a screen, you'll get a keyboard, you'll get a mouse, you'll get that sort of stuff, and you can scatter those across. See, the same thing will happen. Your thermostat will be connected to it, and you can sit there with an app and set your temperatures. Your refrigerator will be connected to it. You
Well, we're
can.
already starting to see some of that, Randy, because I think that's a lot of why we're starting to see like Continuum take interest with some of the guys like HP and stuff being able to take on the Windows platform and just plug a USB cable in your phone and throw it on the desk. It's still a fully functional phone, but through that system, you're using a mouse, a keyboard, and an external hard drive to treat it like a laptop.
But that's the direction you got to think about, rather than what kind of a gaming platforms are going to be around in 10 or 15 years. Yeah, it's going to be in your pocket.
Yep.
You know,
And
there's not going to be a separate. You're not going to go down to Best Buy and buy a gaming platform. You're going to pay Microsoft $499 for a software app that runs Xbox, Xbox One or whatever they call it, games.
Yep.
And
Well,
that's what your gaming console will consist of. Will be a set of software and applications that runs on the phone in your pocket.
I think we touched on this maybe on one of our first episodes, maybe in like January, but we were
yeah,
talking about if Microsoft offered $1,000 a year or $500 a year, and you get every title that's been released. It's kind of like a prepaid service where kind
yeah.
of like EA Access, and that makes a lot of sense. That would be interesting if that's the direction they go. But
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, they can still sell you separate games in this way. This is just a hardware replacement. I
Right.
don't really know what direction they will go in as far as the amount of and how they deliver the software to you. I agree with you. I think that would be the best way to go.
I think everything's going subscription based. I think that they're realizing that media is different now than what it was 10 years ago, and
Mm.
if they can hook you for $10 a month, and they may only put out one game a month or whatever, or give you a bonus game that it's just a remaster or whatever. I think that
Well, that's the reason behind Windows 10. They get you hooked into this environment of theirs. They give it away for free, but they want to sell you Office by the month and security by the month and
right.
all these other things. That's where they make their money. That in the personal data that they farm.
Hmm.
That's they've decided they're not going to make any money selling you operating systems anymore. So they might as
Not
well
when
just forget about it.
yeah, not when everything's pirated. It seems like I'm sure there's at least probably 40% of all Microsoft operating systems are probably pirated, if not more than that.
Well, I
Well,
know, I know for a fact the city of Cerrito has a pirated copy of Windows NT that they've been running since mid '90s, maybe.
Get on the audit train. Let's make some phone calls. Let's get that city shut down.
And I can guarantee you, I know 4 businesses in this area right now off the top of my head running pirated software. I mean, it's something where if you're in an obscure enough place like this area, then you can pretty much go unscathed.
I mean, I have clients all the time that get audited. We have probably 3 a month that get audited through Microsoft. So they send their guy down. He runs a special thing on his server, tells everything of everything that they're running on your network, and he says, "Why do these two keys match?" or whatever, and then you have to justify. If you can't, then he sells you a license right there, or they'll sue you. So
Damn.
yeah,
That's
they're third party hired people, usually nice people that don't care, but they just say, "Hey, got to give you a heads up."
I
But
think at one point my office we were like that. We had several duplications, but we never got audited or anything like that.
I know for a fact that NDT company I worked for in the local area, their office, their operating system, the operating system on the server, their CAD tools, the CAD software, all of it was pirated. I don't think they bought anything.
Hmm.
And when the company that bought them come in, they about had a conniption fit. They were like, "Holy shit, get this stuff off here!" And they cleaned everything out and reset it.
yeah, they give you 30 days here, and if you, I believe it's between 10 and 20 for every illegal license you have is what they charge you, 20,000.
Holy
So,
shit.
oh yeah, yeah, it's no joke.
Well,
They'll
guys,
they'll try to shut you down if they can.
we're getting about 4 minutes till shutting down time. So, has anybody got
Hey,
anything else they want to toss in?
if you want to move on in a few minutes over, it's up to you guys. We didn't cover everything.
No, no, not even. That we had a lot to try to wrap up on there.
Yeah, we got sidetracked on Godzilla, I think.
I didn't expect Godzilla to consume as much of the first part of it as it did, and I was
That was
kind
a
of
good.
glad.
It was still a good conversation.
I was glad we got up to No Man's Sky and got that done before we come back from break, and then tackled the console
It's up to you
conversation.
all. If you want to stay over a little while and cover some other topics, or if you want to wait till next week, that'd be great too.
What else did we have to talk about?
Well, mainly we were kind of getting into the different aspects of how the consoles are going to be evolving, and how the software is going to be more of a yearly licensed thing that you buy rather than buying individual games. And they're already doing that on Xbox Live. You pay what is it, James? $56 a year, and they give you 4 games a month.
Something like that, yeah.
So you get 2 360 games and 2X1 games every month for $60
Do you
a year.
do you play many of them?
Yeah, some of them are pretty damn good.
See the 360 games, I always try to launch them. I never really put a lot into it. It seems like they, and I hate to say it, they do a lot of low class indie games that it has their certain genre of people that it's going to touch. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes like 60% of the Xbox environment doesn't even they download them or they whatever to make sure that the license is in their profile. But
I do
like
that a lot. Like I'll go in, I'll say okay, and then it'll start to download, and then I'll say cancel all downloads, and then move on. And if I want to come back to it, if I'm in the middle of a game or something, then I can come back to it, and then I can fire that game, download that game, and fire it up later. Because playing through 4 games a month is kind of tough for me. I got 3 kids bouncing on my head screaming for Minecraft, and the other one's yelling for Gears.
Do you think they'll do a game on demand kind of service like video on demand?
I can see it going to
well,
that.
PlayStation already has that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, they've been adding. It's called PlayStation Now. They've been
Yeah.
adding pretty much every major title for PlayStation 3 on PlayStation 4. It's like I think it might be $9 a month or something like that. But it's great if you didn't own the previous generation and there's a handful of titles that you want to play. But you can pay per game if you want. Like you could pay. It's just like renting a video, like $3 or something, and you get it for
Right.
24 hours. So
That's
um,
cool.
See, I've been with the 360 when they started doing the actual movie rentals and stuff. There was a couple of movies I bought and a couple I rented and stuff, and I kind of liked that method. I didn't have to take nothing back. I just threw down my
um,
$3, rented a movie, watched it, and I was done with it. And there was no mess, no fuss.
I like it, but I hate it because if I rent it on my Xbox, I can watch it on my Xbox, my phone, and my PC. That's it. If I go to a friend's house who has a Roku or someone who has, Chromecast or something like that, it's got to be a Microsoft product. So
Yeah.
I'll never give them any of my money because I want more of a variety. I'll go to Voodoo or I'll go to Flickster or one of those online ones and do it that way.
What I did was I just started fooling with Netflix mainly, and if I wanted a movie or something like you said, I'll go Flickster or something like that. But that's kind of where it started for me, was on the 360 with that application when I saw that it could work and it does have a good quality and it does have good sound. Then I was like, oh, okay, this isn't like streaming shitty movies off some crappy website. This is actually a good quality video. Then I started looking for other options that had more of a wide base, like different devices that it would work with. And we're right at 11:30, guys. Are you wanting to hang around and talk some more, or are we gonna call it a evening here?
It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you guys decide on.
If we got more to chew on, we can keep going. I don't care.
You got another item on your list there, Gary? If not, I guess we're done.
Yep,
I've got something to throw at. Have you guys saw the trailer for the movie Arrival that's coming out?
Yeah, that looks
Yeah, I
great.
did.
no.
It looks interesting.
It's a different way to approach it. It revolves around making or trying to communicate with an alien contact, trying to learn their language. So they bring in a linguist to help try to
Ooh,
decipher the alien language. Yeah, it's a completely different approach.
I,
It
I
seems
like
it's pretty
it.
cool.
I mean
Yeah.
that kind of reminds me of Contact a little bit, where they're trying to figure out the message and what
That's
it's
accurate.
implying to it.
Hmm.
They're trying to figure out okay, it's prime numbers, and then they're like, well, hell, that's not a accidental signal. So now they know it's a legitimate signal. Now they got to try to figure out what it is, and then as they start to figure it out, it's kind of fun to watch it come together.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a Star Trek type of a
Mhm.
approach. It's the type of thing you'd expect to see on Next Generation.
Right. Yeah, definitely check the trailer out if you haven't. It looks like a good flick.
I
Yeah, I saw
saw
Yeah.
the trailer. It does look good.
I saw something on the new Star Trek TV series though.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the guy that's directing it, I think, or maybe it was the producer, posted a picture, and it was of one of the blue guys with the antenna, the Andorians, and
Yeah.
it was just that picture, and I was like, I wonder if that's a hint, because this one takes place after Enterprise, but at like, what was it,
10 years
Randy?
before Kirk.
Yeah, 10 years before Kirk.
Right.
So it's an interesting time era. I'm
My question is how I don't subscribe to that stuff. I'm CBS or whatever it is that's doing it. I'm not sure how I'm going to get to watch it. It's not
Everybody got
something I
quiet when he said that.
CBS, they have I can't remember. Are they one of the pay channels online to stream? Like if you want to
Yeah.
watch, it's CBS All Access. I think it's what
right.
it's
They
called.
have
Yeah.
they have a pay subscription service, and this is going to show up on that.
Are they not going to broadcast it on TV too?
No, it's
No,
not
they're
going to be
not.
on television.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
I'm seeing right
huge
now they have
mistake.
a one. I don't know. I don't think it's a huge mistake because I mean, there's one television show that I actually watch on TV. Like I'll either binge watch it on Netflix or I mean Hulu's not that expensive. I don't believe it. I think it's $8 or $10. So I mean I don't know. I don't know a lot of people that sit down and watch TV anymore. Unless it's sports. I mean, I really don't watch TV. I would rather consume it online.
I'm really kind of surprised they're not putting it on TV. I
No,
did
it's
not
not going
know
to be
that.
on television, and you're
I,
going to have to pay so much a month to get it. Now,
I would
it's
almost say that they know their genre.
Yeah,
It
Well,
won't watch it on TV, and they're going to consume everything online. I see that All Access is $6 a month.
you know what's going to happen. It's going to drive it off to these pirate sites,
yeah.
could very well.
and that's what's going to happen. Is everybody's going to illegally download it because you can't get it without paying the subscription. Most people won't pay that for one show.
I know that
Because
worldwide it's getting handled by Netflix. They'll be the ones broadcasting it instead of the CBS streaming service here in the States.
Well, I'll almost bet that CBS will do like Nickelodeon did and pull all their shit back in their app, and everybody go, "Well, fuck you! I don't want to have a cable company subscription to have a key to use on this app in order to pay to watch the shows that I've already paid for."
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a stupid setup.
it's one of those things where I would rather pay for, ABC owns, Disney, they own ESPN. Like I would rather
Hmm.
pay for this block of channels if there's one I want. I would rather do the
Absolutely.
subscription based if I'm instead of paying $100 for
Well,
cable.
see, I was going to do that with the Nickelodeon app, but when I found out I had to have a cable subscription and I had to have something from my cable company to punch into that before it would let me watch the shows unrestricted, I was like, screw that.
See,
I'll,
down here in the Tampa area, we have we have Comcast, we have Bright House, we have well, not Verizon anymore, it's Frontier, but everything you sign up for, you get this is my at Bright House, my Bright House address, and then you can watch live TV on your phones, on your tablets,
yeah,
anywhere. So they're pretty much making it like if you have an HBO subscription and you want to watch it on your phone on your way to work, you can. You don't have to be home to do it anymore. They
yeah.
have a TV app that you can watch on your computer that every channel you can see on your cable box, as long as you have your login, you have it there as well.
I'd rather just be able to say, well, if I want the ABC app, I'll just pay for the ABC app and be done with it.
Right.
But they want you to have the cable subscription on top of that. Well, I've already got a cable subscription. How do you think I'm watching this, you dingaling? I
Hmm.
shouldn't have to have their TV service, which sucks. Because the last thing I want is a bunch of channels I never watch that include Honey Boo Boo and Duck Dynasty and a bunch of other jackass shows
Hey,
like
don't talk
that.
about Duck Dynasty.
They really should go to an a la carte model. I mean, really, that's what people want. They don't want to have to pay for like the 100 channel package just to watch a few channels.
Well, what I would like is um, every channel's $2 or something like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't want. I know that right now, if you have cable, that like $8 out of your cable bill goes to the ESPN networks. Like ESPN has to be included in every cable package provided, whether it's the lowest end or the highest end.
yeah,
ESPN demands the most. So if you don't watch sports, I mean, you're paying $8 a month for stuff that content you don't want. So what I would like to see happen is, if there's 10 shows I want, I pay $2, and after sure FCC taxes, all that, like it might be $35.
yeah,
I would love something like that. Like there's just so many channels that, and I don't know. I would love for that to happen, but I don't think it can ever happen. Now that I'm starting to say it out, because there's going to be new shows coming out on this channel. Well, I don't have that channel, so I'm not even going to bother to check it out. Or
I'm Go
are
ahead.
they going to advertise? Is you know if a new Lifetime show comes on, are they going to advertise on Sci-Fi or ESPN or
You know
yeah.
what they could do? They could just give it to you for free for 3 months and see if you like it, and then start charging you.
That's
Yeah,
what
well,
they
See,
you'll probably start seeing stuff like that before it
I'm
gets.
I'm waiting for the first online only cable provider.
Yeah, well, there's no reason they couldn't have that, but
are you
Exactly.
cable
not
systems won't let them.
are you not familiar
Well,
with the Comic Con channel? Comic Con HQ?
whoa. Okay, what's that?
They pretty much have their own network. They have they show live streams from conventions. They have their own
Oh,
shows. They have
well, what I mean is something like an NBC that's online only. So you buy your service and it's all streamed content and not having to deal with Comcast or what other or Dish
You
Network or
want an
I,
DirecTV.
online cable company that just
I,
like
yeah,
Comcast, but it's just over the internet. And there's no reason
exactly.
they couldn't have that,
Yeah,
other than the cable companies won't let them because
right. There'll
they've
have
got
to
a
be some changes in
and
regulation or
that's
something.
something I was getting ready to
stupid
say
deal.
is right now the cable companies choke us out from having a lot of what we could have because they want you to buy TV no matter what. They
No,
want
I
you to buy
understand
that
that.
TV package.
Not as a big conspiracy. Comcast owns NBC, and Comcast owns MSNBC. Comcast owns a whole bunch of these stations, and so does Fox. Fox owns a lot of stations. So they own a lot of the stations that they're broadcasting over their cable companies, and they're not going to allow the internet to pick those up and put them out of business.
I think
So
one of the funniest
other than
things
major
I've
shakeup to happen.
one of the funniest things you can do is type Comcast is into Google.
Yeah, you gotta love that image that you see. You don't have to say it, but
It's
anyone
like
watching can see it themselves. But yeah,
it's hysterical. Just type
it's
Comcast is, and then just let the drop down amuse you.
or just type Comcast in Google and go to images. You'll see
Oh
some
yeah,
interesting
oh
ones.
yeah.
They're on Reddit all the time too. They're on Reddit 24/7. People are upvoting it constantly. So
Nice.
I had Comcast for several years. That was the biggest bunch of crooks I ever saw in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
I
rather
don't
have
I
after
don't think I
my
ever have.
experience. After my experience with them, I'd rather not have internet than to have them.
Now where you're at, Gary, what do you have? What is your provider?
Armstrong, and I got to be honest, as far as price and uptime, I mean, I've had for 2 years two outages that lasted 30 minutes.
Don't you have a cap though? A data cap? Monthly data cap?
I do, but it's
Uh,
I think for mine it's 2.5 terabyte or 3 terabyte, something like that.
I had
But
heard
do you
that they recently increased them.
do you get to see a report or anything? I'm just curious if you're
yes.
streaming games.
When I
Do you,
play, when I go to their website and I log in, there's a bar there that shows me how much has been used to this point and how much to go.
you ever went over?
No, not on the commercial line that I have. The commercial line I have is huge, but residential is tiny. It's like 200 gigabyte. Well,
Oh wow.
hell, I can burn up 200 gigabyte just thinking about the internet.
Right.
And that's not even being a little bit funny. I mean, look, that's what four Xbox One games or PlayStation 4 games.
Right.
So your free games for the month pretty much shoot you out of being able to play online, and they need to address that like now, if not sooner, with the cap issue. As far as these companies doing that shit,
Well,
Well,
I
it
have
makes
heard
them
that.
money. They're not going to allow you to. I mean, they
hell,
put that cap on for a reason. The same reason they've got on mobile phones. They make a lot of money off of that.
they're making money hand over fist anyway.
Well, I'd have heard that several cable internet providers who had a cap were raising it up to 2 terabytes because they realized streaming content, HD content, eats up a lot of bandwidth, and most customers will chew through that relatively small 200, 250
Oh
gigabyte
yeah,
cap.
Armstrong was trying to tell me one day when I was on the phone with them because they were telling me they were going to up. Yeah, my package had changed for what I was paying for. It was going to go up in download speed, and then I was going to get a cap. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to give me 200 megabytes per second, which means I hit the ceiling faster, but you're going to cap it. And I was like, I'll tell you what, keep the download speed because I'm good with 50. I have no trouble out of 50 megabit running everything in this house. How
Hmm.
about give me a higher upload? That way, when I do YouTube streams or Twitch streams or something like that, it's a little more stable.
Right.
But nothing do them than like give me 200 megabytes down, but like 25 megabytes up. It's like grossly broken when you think
It's
about
usually
the ratio.
10 to 1's usually about right. It's, unless you got fiber.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to have, but I'll probably see that here about the same time I see, us walk on Mars
We'll get there.
eventually. We keep
Did you see
talking
that?
about it long enough. We'll see somebody walk on Mars.
Did you see
See,
that there was another study that came out about the EM drive? It's been proven to work again by a German scientist, and they still can't figure out how in the world it's producing thrust without any fuel.
wow.
I had not seen that about the EM drive. What's it
Yeah.
based off of?
Uh, geez, you'd have. Uh, let me let me see if I can remember. But basically, you're bouncing You create this cavity. You know what? You just need to look it up. I'm going to do it an injustice by trying to describe to you. But basically, there's no fuel being put into this special engine. Yet somehow there is a small measurable amount of thrust being produced by something that many say is impossible. It
Liquid
breaks a
Schwartz.
law of physics.
Liquid Schwartz.
Right, that's it. So they're saying that if this could scale up to the point where it could get us to the moon in 4 hours and could get us to Mars in 70 days instead of 3 years, if they could get it to work, scale up right.
Yeah, if I can get it efficiently.
As our skin flies off our body.
No, not like that. Anyways, look it up. EM Drive, letters E and M. It's some fascinating stuff.
I did
Fun.
see, you may have posted it, Rick, where NASA is releasing all their public data.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one thing on there where they discovered that there was a 400 foot tsunami wave, like thousands of years ago on Mars in one of their oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, because like all the sediment and stuff, they can look at that and go, oh, okay, well, in order for this to happen, you had to have an A, B, and C, and this is the result.
Right.
I know this is off subject, but anyone got a chance to test out Titanfall 2?
I did not. I tried to find the. I tried to get my hands on it, but I couldn't.
I downloaded it on both consoles and I launched it, and it was an instant 7 gig update. I'm like, it's broke before they even released it. But
There's a reason for that. EA.
that's why it's it's the open beta. So there's no reason for anyone to tear it down
Just yet.
I mean, it's its purpose. The beta is its purpose to see how it's going to run and what they need to fix. And that's one thing that EA screws up a lot of stuff, but that is something that EA is good at. EA is, they're always giving a Battlefield, open beta. They gave a Star Wars open beta, so I kind of wish some of the other companies would do the same, but.
I just kind of wish that Star Wars had a game with it. I mean, the only thing they had for it was running around in circles and shooting everybody. That gets kind of old, and Star Wars is a game that all their franchises had, most of them had that element, but they also had a story to it and something you could follow through that kind of fit within canon.
Maybe they'll do a Rebel Assault 2 remaster or Dark Forces remaster. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
They can have Rebel Assault. I would rather see TIE Fighter. TIE Fighter or X-Wing.
Yeah, I agree.
Why don't they bring that back?
I think once VR gets going, we're gonna see tons of that stuff coming back.
Oh man,
I just
some TIE Fighter.
I want some Descent 2 VR or something.
Yes.
There you go.
The game I want to play in VR would be the Duke Nukem 3D.
So over Duke Nukem.
I don't know. It just seems like it'd be fun.
Did you guys see it at Gamescom? They had a big trolling thing for Half-Life 3.
Yes, those assholes.
They even put a banner up for it. It's like there's no desire. There's no desire for Half-Life 3. They don't want, and it's been so long and so hyped. It would be a letdown no matter how great it is.
Yep.
I think so at this point.
I think that's a lot of the reason why Valve kind of takes their times with games like Left 4 Dead 3, Half-Life 3, and stuff like that. They let all that bullshit kind of die down, then they make a game, and it's usually good most of the time. I mean, Half-Life was good, Left 4 Dead 1 was good, Left 4 Dead 2 was good, Half-Life 2 was good. I mean, they got a good track record.
Damn, why does it got to take so long to make a follow-up?
Hey, when you're making art, it takes a while.
I guess. No, they're more focused on Steam right now. That's the problem. Or not necessarily a problem, really, I guess.
Anyone play the Batman Telltale series? Telltale series?
I-
How is it?
I played a little bit.
I've liked it so far. The gameplay is a lot different from the Arkham series, but
What you would
Yeah,
expect.
it's like a
Does it seem like
interactive-
does it seem like they're trying to focus more on the detective side of Batman?
there was one area in the first episode that's out that you had to try to figure out what happened in this scene. It's like yeah, it's a lot more detective. It seemed like.
See
Yeah,
that
the only
seems
thing
to
I've
sum
played out of
Batman up a little
the
better
only
to me.
the only thing I've played out of their franchise was the Back to the Future one. I think was one of their first ones. But I've heard a lot of good things about The Walking Dead,
Mhm.
that game, and I think they might have done a Game of Thrones one, maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
They,
I'm
they did a
curious though.
Borderlands, I think. Didn't they do a
Yeah,
Borderlands series?
yeah, and it
I
was
Yeah,
played some of
good.
that.
yeah, I'm seeing that the whole series is episodes 1 through 5 is $25, and I take it right now all they have is episode 1 out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the only one that's out right now.
It's
I
it's
think.
worth the $5 pickup. It's worth the try.
yeah, oh yeah, easily.
Oh yeah.
And that's something I kind of liked about the Walking Dead one, as they had it when I first got my Xbox One. They had it on Games for Gold, so I got all 4 episodes. It was either that or some kind of sale or freebie they were doing, and I got all 4 episodes of it for the Xbox One, and I had it on the original 360. But me and Sis sat down and played through all of it. Man, it was a blast. I love that game. It's an emotional roller coaster. I'll definitely give them that.
Yeah, I know. I think they also do the Life is Strange series,
Yep.
and a lot of people really liked it. I think I picked it up for free. I think
Yeah,
Xbox
I
had it
did
maybe
too.
a couple months back or whatever, but I haven't launched it. Haven't tried it out yet.
I didn't get as into it as I did the others, and I think that's because it's kind of a different game in a way. Like the story design is maybe a little more geared towards the female uh, part of the audience,
Hmm.
and it didn't seem to kind of jive with me as well as it should have. Maybe I don't know. I just didn't care for it as much as I did. I liked the time play that was in it because you could completely undo decisions in reverse time, and then pick a completely different path. So you got to explore the end result of your decisions and then back it up and try again. And it was neat, and I didn't mind it, but it wasn't that same kind of wow factor that Walking Dead had, or Batman, or the others.
Hmm.
I've
Um,
even enjoyed the Minecraft one they did.
oh,
It's
I didn't know they did a Minecraft.
hysterical. Oh God, it's hysterical.
By
And
the way,
they
I picked up Uno. They redid Uno.
my
It's
first
it's
Xbox arcade game.
it's so garbage. Like it is not the Uno that we had on 360.
Aww.
Um, they've added these different modes. It's called seven or something. So halfway through, your round, all of a sudden everybody just switches cards. I have no idea what triggers it, what does it, but it's pretty aggravating. So that is definitely a do not waste your money on Uno.
I used to play Uno at work with a bunch of guys at lunchtime. We'd always pick one guy to dump on. It was absolutely most fun. He gets so damn pissed off. One time he jumped up and ripped the card deck in half.
Nice.
Crap.
Uno's a great game. I don't care who you are, what you do. I can sit down and play Uno anytime.
I can
Yep.
remember being a kid and going to bed and listening to my parents and my grandmother and my uncle and aunt, and they'd all be down here playing gin. And you hear my grandmother inevitably every fucking hand,
He'd beat
gin,
him.
and you'd hear, "Son of a bitch, Mom! God, how in the hell do you do that?" Statistically speaking, somebody else should have won at least once, and I'd get tickled at, and they're like, "Get in the bed."
My mom's like that too with gin rummy. I heard it today now. It's like, why should I play? I know how this is going to turn out.
I'm just going to deduct the 10,000 points on this piece of paper, and we'll just call it finished.
It's so funny though. I remember being almost my son's age and just laughing myself to sleep listening to them carry on playing Entertainment Tonight trivia and Trivial Pursuit and all those different
yeah.
games.
I played all those games with your grandma. She beat the shit out of me. There
My
wasn't a single game I played that I ever won with her. I mean, I don't care if it's Monopoly or cards or she beat me at everything I played.
as my grandmother got older and she started to get a little more less at herself, she would still play cards. They had a little thing set up so she could put them in front of them and she'd let them know which ones to play down there. She would still beat the shit out of people being able to see her cards. I think she just had a natural disposition to beat the hell out of anybody she played at card games.
She was like a magnet. She just attracted every good card in the deck that just went right in her hand.
I remember Dad quitting.
Little did you guys know she had another deck.
I remember my dad one time throwing his hand down.
Surprised me.
I remember Dad throwing his hand down one time going, damn it, I know she's got all the good cards because I ain't got shit in my hand. He got up and quit.
Right. It's hilarious.
Well, fellas, I think we've about expended every option we can for tonight.
All right.
Well, let's wrap it up. I appreciate everybody watching and everybody showing up to be in here and everything. And we'll catch you guys next weekend.
All right, good talking. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
see ya.